Welcome back on in, everyone, to the Proving Grounds, powered by Verizon. I'm Mazel, joined by Rafa and Beatdown Boulevard. I have a little bit of fun here between the series as we're getting ready for game number 2. I got a little game show to play with these two wonderful, fine fellas after they get done shoutcasting that last game. We got our completely 100% original idea, Yordle, today, and we're gonna have a lot of fun here. Just to run down the concepts here, we are going to have these wonderful men guess 5 different guesses. There is a word with 5 letters that we're trying to reach here, and you do get 5 guesses. You have told me that you want to alternate for the guesses and then culminate for the final guess together. So we'll go ahead with the first guess here. It's a 5-letter word. If you get the letter in the right place and it is the right letter, it will be green. If you get the right letter but the wrong place, it'll be yellow. And if you don't get the right letter at all, it'll be gray. Beatdown, I'm throwing it to you first. What is your guess? The key word when you finally decide the letter or the word that you want is you want to lock it in.
Okay. Flank, and I want to lock it in.
Plank. All right, let's go ahead and throw plank up there.
Flank, as in like
plank. Okay, yeah. Well, flank. Plank, same
Production
thing, right?
Knew what you were saying.
yeah.
Let's go.
What?
We need a buzzer sound.
Oh,
that is gonna be a hard miss, my friend.
Wow, I really thought at least one of those letters would be coming through.
Yikes, dog.
I'm
Yikes.
sorry, brother.
Right.
Mark, you're gonna need to dig us out of the hole now.
damn.
Rafa, it's all on you here for guess number 2. What do you got?
So just to clarify, Mazel, this is a word that basically either was used in the game or like we said on the cast. Is that the hint that we get?
So it's just a general word. I will tie it to the series itself, but it's just a general word. Maybe something that's recollective of the series or something that happened, but just general words.
5-letter word, and it's not FL. You got rid of a lot of consonants.
Got a lot of them out of the way.
There's quite a lot of vowels left.
We need the do.
You know what? Let's go drive.
Drive. Okay, change it up a little bit. We're gonna lock in drive. Let's see.
Whoa!
Oh! Bada bing, bada boom! You're hitting the Yordle all day. R-I-E in the right place. You got the D somewhere in there, and only one letter wrong. So now, I feel like pressure's all on you,
I know,
BDB.
I was gonna say.
Comes in strong. You come in with nothing. What do you got?
I mean, I did ask him to dig us out of the hole, and he delivered, so I'll give him credit for that. So I'm thinking now. Bride?
It's
Wait, hold on. What was it?
Bride, like marriage.
Bride.
Whoa,
Bride.
Okay, I'm thinking, you want to talk this out? Let's talk this out.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
No.
Why?
No, this is
there's
Beatdown's
no way.
guess. This is Beatdown's guess.
Wait, I want Mark's input. We're a team, so I'll
Yeah,
listen.
we're a team.
That's
man.
not
We're a
what you
team.
told me at the beginning.
Oh,
of the
wait, you're right. We
You're
did say
going
that.
back on your words here.
Mark, we're teammates, but we're doing this one-on-one. Look at the camera. Look at the camera right now. I need you to trust me.
Okay. I know you're gonna get the D in the right place, but oh God, wait, what?
I needed you to really
right,
see
so
me.
Are we locking in Bride? Bride?
If you give me like 3 seconds. Bride, my bride. Yes, we're locking in.
All right,
That's
we're
getting
locking in
clipped.
Bride
Oh, God.
because it definitely has something to do with this series. Let's
It
see
does.
if it works out.
Trust.
Well,
Damn it.
you got the D in the right place, so only one letter to change here. You were close. I'm sorry there are no brides in this one.
Damn.
But it does go back over to Rafa, the man with the plan. What do you got? You gonna lock in something spicy? Or?
Pride.
Pride. All right. Let's see it.
Yeah.
Pride. Is that the word? Are those the letters? Is that the Yordle of the day? Let's see it. Bing! Woo! You did it! So, a little context here. I'm sorry, BDB.
It's okay. What are you sorry
had to
for?
be a bit of
We're
a guinea
teammates.
pig.
We both won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did
I
it.
have some serious pride here.
Yeah.
First of all, pride for Winthrop for being able to put up a little bit of something, capitalize on Team Liquid's mistakes, which there were some of because of that goldie they established for themselves. But pride for this Team Liquid Academy squad. Every single one of them keeping up the pressure. Ayla popping off on the Bard himself, getting some kills for his own. This team makes me filled with pride to be a part of the Academy scene because they have just absolutely leveled up in this bracket into Proving Grounds, but as well as beforehand. You've seen the steps, and we're seeing what comes of it.
The other thing, too, about the way Team Liquid Academy played is they looked at some of the surprise curveballs that Winthrop came through with, new picks like the Seraphine and the Senna, at least first time in Proving Grounds, maybe not the first time in Amateur, but, they dealt with them. Even the Malzahar that came through from Vivano as well. They're like, okay, we'll do you one better. We're going to throw out Bard. And they had some strong early game set plays to put Vivano behind.
They did. It was really smart to just take advantage of the fact that you and I highlighted in Draft Mark the big thing with the Malzahar into the LeBlanc once you get to the later parts of the game. It's that nether grasp. Well, TL said, well, guess what, Ivano? You don't have that till like 6 or 7 minutes. So in those 6 or 7 minutes, we'll come check you. And they did.
They kept going over the wall. It's just so awful.
Just hard things.
For Ivano.
I thought Beatdown was about to say something like, your is grass, man.
It was definitely difficult in that mid lane for Winthrop University, but I will say, like, being able to see specifically Armeo be the general that we know him to be for the squad, and it kind of all come together with Jan pop it off on, at this point, I feel like his signature pick in Zeri. Team Liquid are striding ahead very strongly, right? Yes, they can take some of those mistakes that they had in the last game and clear them up. I specifically, the one that's going to stand out to me, and I'm sorry, Ayla, and I'm sorry, Armeo, but that Onslaught of Shadows combo with the Bard ultimate, the communication comes later on in Proving Grounds. It's fine. Right. But all in all, right, like, it is very prideful for Team Liquid to come out in the way they did. And I think for Winthrop, you're going to be reeling a little bit from that first game, but you could see the steps that you need to take Team Liquid to a full game.
And I think part of that comes from maybe revisiting some of your priority bans in draft. Of course, they did end up taking away. There are still a lot of strong picks, despite the AD nerfs coming through when you're on the red side. But I think things like this is when you watch TLA. A lot of things that have been doing wonders for them is Armeo on that Hecarim and, of course, Jan on the Zeri. And in that first rotation for them to get those two champs, I think already set them up for so much success. That plus the fact that TLA, they team fight so very well together. So I think Winthrop going into this next game, thing you're probably looking for is, again, take away some of those really key picks that they excel on, like the Hecarim, like the Zeri, and just try to secure whatever power picks you can and get yourself that simple front-to-back composition. Because I think at this level, when you're facing teams like this, Titans that are TLA, simpler the better when it comes to team comps.
Well, guys, I have heard that we are ready for Champion Select, so I'm gonna take it away now. Rafa, you don't get it. So here's the champ select. I'm taking it.
Okay.
I'm casting with Mazel now?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. All right, well, let me go hang up my headset. Mazel, show me the LPL casting skills, buddy. I'm dipping out.
Everyone's just it's just me
I
now.
was gonna say I just left because I was giving it to Rafa, but it doesn't
but now Rafa left, so it's just you and me.
Yeah,
Alan.
I was gonna say, who's holding it in this fight? Champion Select is ready to go.
Yes, it is.
So we're gonna throw it off.
All right, I'm taking the champ select. Give it to me, Mazel. I'm taking it by force, just like Team Liquid took that game away from Winthrop by force.
That's right. It was that was definitely a bit of a power struggle there, but it looks like I am back with you, Mark. Of course, I am happy to be. And as we get into Champ Select, some of the things we were just talking about it's going to be interesting to see if they come to light. What are Winthrop going to do now that they're on the blue side, of course, because now they're going to have the ability to grab some of these priority picks, but it's looking like they agree with me. Zeri, Hecarim, even if we're on blue side, don't want to see it. Get it out. Those champs are dead to me.
This does open up some of their previous bans, though. I think things like the Karma and the Lucian were previously on the table or taken as bans by Winthrop when they were on the red side.
You go. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to cut you, Mark. It's just like the.
No. no. Come on, man.
The Karma
You're
was
good.
definitely like a band they had to look at as well, because we've seen when at this point too, some teams are still looking for those hyper carry 80 carries, and an usual answer, because they're weaker now in the laning phase, is that Ezreal Karma, Yawn, and Ayla specifically have done that in recent memory, and it's brutal, man. That's not a fun lane to play into.
Omega poke lane,
Yeah.
very, very oppressive. Team Liquid Academy going to respect the Senna first pick, though. They are eliminating it off the field. So some of the things that you already pointed out for Winthrop University that they can be looking. Oh, okay. Hold up, Beatdown.
Talk to me.
We had a conversation
We
about
did,
the
I
Lucian
know.
priority, man.
We did. And the thing about it too was that, because one, again, the fact that on 12.5b, a lot of the main hyper carries were nerfed, specifically targeted at their early laning phase for the most part here. I mean, Aphelios is one of those champions, but seems like TLA are okay bringing that into it. But the Lucian, you pair it with an enchanter of some kind. We know it to be best with the Nami when it comes to getting the extra bit to the new passive that they added recently for Lucian. Means you still do have a really strong laning phase for Vex and Kenji. And the most interesting thing about the pick too is that, Mark, I believe we were talking about how we could maybe potentially see Ivano be picking up the Lucian.
Yes, because Lucian mid, kind of low-key poggers.
Low-key
That's all
poggers.
I'm gonna say. Low-key poggers. And if Frost Forest wants to dip into a magic-centric jungler, I know Frost Forest hit on his collegiate grand finals winning game. He pulled out the Karthus against Maryville University. And it's something that, you know, in the academy stage, if you've been only watching the academy, then you might associate that Karthus is only a champion that Mouse has played, but Frost Force plays it too. And, you know, he did play in Cloud9 Academy as a sub for them, so he may have, you know, picked up a few things about what a Cloud9 Academy's, you know, play style is overall. But with that Nami lock-in, I imagine that it would be the Lucian Nami for the bot lane of Vex and Kenji.
Right, and you're seeing on the other side, of course, TLA, they got the Aphelios, like we said, and they're going to go ahead and grab that Viego for Armeo this time around. No Hecarim available, is still going to go for some of those late game style junglers where you're looking to farm it up, have that impact later on. I think that's more in line with what we expect from Armeo as a player, and even Academy in general, where that's a noticeable difference between Academy and Amateur is that in Academy, they actually pull away from the whole early game junglers. You do see your volley bears and things from time to time, but a lot of it has been Viego. A lot of it has been things like the Hecarim that we saw in game 1.
The nice thing about Volibear is that even though Volibear definitely has more early game agency versus someone like a Viego, you can still have the flexibility of a full clearing jungler or a jungler that wants to prioritize farm over putting pressure on the map, right? And that's kind of like what Volibear has been like a band-aid champion for a lot of teams, where they're like, we don't know if we want to play fast and loose in the early game, or if we want to play, you know, a little bit more controlled in the first 3 minutes, and we want to make set plays, you know, 4 or 5 minutes after they get a full clear in.
Yeah, now with the results, with that being in too, with the thing with Volibear also that works later on is his dive potential. That Stormbreaker, being able to shut off turrets, get you that extra bit of distance and health, of course, to be able to sustain these dives that you're looking for. That's why you're seeing Team Liquid Academy take away things like the Camille from Mobwood. You want to take away at least one of these champions that synergize really well with the dive, because with the Nami in the bottom lane instead of something like maybe a Leona, you are still lacking in hard engage on the side of Winthrop University. You do need someone to move in with Frost Forest, or as I like to call it, you need some dive buddies, you know? Put on the goggles, the swim caps, and give them a high five. I don't know what dive buddies do. I don't swim very often, but yeah.
Well, it's a shame that Frost Force, when he was playing on Cloud9 Academy, he had Speedo, who renamed to Lawrence in the top lane. But, you know, I'm trying to follow the references that you're making right now.
Okay, yeah, true. I like that.
Yeah, you gotta wear Speedos, you know, if you're gonna go at full speed.
Yes.
You gotta get the aerodynamic maximum velocity when you're charging and looking to make Team Liquid feel the wrath of the Stormbreaker in the first place.
Right. In the early game, of course, proving to be pretty strong for Winthrop University so far. And at this point, you're probably looking to get yourself oh, wait a minute. The Gangplank is up and available for Bradley. So I think that's something they're just going to be able to lock in for themselves. It's his most, it's one of his most played champs. He's hasn't lost a single game. I believe he's
Yep.
6-0 on the pick. And I mean, it was a lot of the clips we had of him, Mark, was on that Gangplank. The dude is nuts on the pick.
And, you know, what better way to pick up and learn Gangplank at its full potential than having someone like Whippo be in the starting roster for the squad as well. I mean, I imagine that Bradley gets a chance to do some 1v1s with Whippo in their off time, and Whippo will gladly share that knowledge. Like, hey, you can be optimizing this better for the laning phase. But the way that Bradley has been able to play out late game phases has been credible. The other thing, though, beatdown, we got an Akshan from a Bud against the Gangplank.
Yeah, that's a pretty fun one to see it out in the top lane. Of course, Gangplank early on, he's playing for the scaling, so you do have that early pressure with something like the Akshan top lane, especially if he is holding on to the Ignite that I see there on a summoner spell slot. So you do have some dive potential there with the rope so that he can follow up. But speaking of dive potential, we're seeing Ivano pull out the Ahri in the mid lane. She is nerfed on this patch, but still pretty good on the wave clear. The problem is, Mark, you know who else is good on the wave clear? Rise. That is a champion that's going to be getting you a lot of mid lane priority and a lot of opportunity for Armeo to do what he did in game 1, Mark, and that was run Summoner's Rift.
And you were talking about Harry when he locked into LeBlanc. It was his most played champion. You know what his second most played champion? That blue guy right there in the mid lane. The spellcaster himself. Rune Master in the mid lane. For Harry, he is just looking to control Ivano, make sure that he is not the one that is roaming freely, getting multiple assassination kills, because Ahri has a lot of that pressure,
Right.
you know, in the first, you know, phase of the game. But later on, this Rise just puts out damage like no other.
Yeah, like a machine gun. When you consider him against other mages, it is unreal. Even with the tanky build, even though that is a little less optimal than it used to be, you're still going to be more useful than the Ahri into the later stages of the game. And you do open up this opportunity to itemize mostly towards armor as a result on the side of TLA. And I think that's my kind of main concern with Ahri as a pick right now. Of course, early mid, she's great because you get shove and you have a lot of dive potential, but especially in these higher levels of play, teams can kind of say, all right, you can have that. That's cool. I'm still going to build something like the, I'm just going to focus more on armor if I'm building any resistances to begin with here, because you're not really worried about Ahri as a solo AP champion. This is a champion who you do see who's a bit on a timer, and I'm looking for Ivano to be able to make use of the time he has.
Playmaking with Frost Forest for Mabud. Remember what we saw about the tweet that Frost Forest made towards Bradley? The council will decide your fate on Monday. We didn't really get a chance to see Ivano get have that opportunity to roam towards the top side of the map, but this time around, we have Mabud on the Akshan, someone that wants to get ahead early. Ivano, someone that can lean towards the top side of the map, look for those roam plays. And then Frost Force, we talked about the flexibility of this champion, and Frost Force is a flexible person, can make plays either as early as 3 minutes or even 2.5 minutes when he hits the level 3 mark, or can wait until level 6 and make a 3-man dive against the Pirate.
You see that top lane play doesn't end up finding Bradley, but it will be a ward drop there in that brush. Will give Mabud a little bit of that early pressure in lane. You can tell they're really trying to play for him here. And to your Frostpore's point, I mean, the clips we had for him at top of show, Mark, you remember, it was on this very Volibear player who is like a brain for the side of Winthrop University, really good at leading this team and making these early game plays to carry them to the late game.
Whoop, I was muted. I just turned off the mute button real quick. We're in the game, though, as you already pointed out. And last time when we watched the map unfold, we saw some creative plays, mainly from Ayla, thanks to being able to use the Bard in tandem with Armeo after a full clear, and then just diving past the mid turret. Something that, you know, really strong coordinated teams are always able to consistently pull off. It's something that is a little more tricky, a little more intimidating for, you know, most amateur teams coming into it. This time around, Winthrop can be thankful that Team Liquid won't be able to pull off something similar as easily before.
Speaking of Ayla, since he's on this Tom Kench pick and you look at this draft, I think he's probably the best chance of hard engage that they have. So I'm looking for him to be kind of the team fight setup later on into the game here, even in the middle of the game, because like the Bard, you do have these more interesting angles of engage that people might not be expecting. So it's not even as much what I'm expecting from him in lane, because early on, Lucian Nami is going to be able to dominate you. But I'm looking to see what Ayla can do with some of the roam timers he'll find for himself, Mark.
Okay, well, Frost Force full clear bottom side, and then just going towards the mid lane, trading flash onto Harry. The charm still lands from Ivano, and they should have enough damage. Well played from Winthrop for first blood.
There it is. That's what we were looking for from the jungler of Winthrop University. You find the early play, you trade flash for flash with TL's mid laner, and you still secure the kill onto Ivano. That's what you like to see. Now that opens up Harry to, well, another gank. Ivano says, how do you like it this time around? Kind of giving Harry a taste of TL's own medicine from last game.
Armail's gonna look to make a response now onto the top side of the map, but a nice ward from a Bud should now give him plenty of information to avoid any potential gank that Armail was looking for. And something that we've talked to Cubby a lot about, Volibear just being used by teams, especially from the collegiate scene. Often you go for the quickest level 3 clear that you can, immediately go mid lane, trade flash as you talked about, and now, well, Ivano just used the charm, so hold up, Harry is actually cut off here. Now look, I don't think the stun will be able to come through, but Harry is going to be taking the long route back home. If Ivano gets charmed back up in time, they get the flash down. Enough damage should be here. Armail will arrive to the party, but Ivano should still be able to pick up, but it's a trade. Oh no,
it's not.
Doesn't even get Harry. Harry walks away thanks to corrupting pods, and then now it's Armail with the flash forward, cleans it up and saves Team Liquid's mid laner.
Oh, it was a good attempt at a punish there from Winthrop University, but they bite off more than they can chew. And not only does Ivano die after using flash, Armail gets to pick up both of those kills. And you're going to see it here. I mean, the charm already going out is a little brutal there. And it means that Harry's able to use that phase rush to essentially just run his way out of the situation, run to his jungler, and allow that play to come through. But speaking of plays now, Frost Force is in the area to try and make something happen, and Mabud is just going for it.
Is he looking for it? Ignite comes out. Bradley still has flash.
Oh,
Bradley! Bradley says, I'm not the one in trouble. You're the one logged in with me, buddy. Flashing forward. Giga Chad status in the face of dying against Mabud's Ignite, and he's the one that comes out on top.
Oh my god, and the plays don't stop. Mark Ivano is in trouble.
Still no flash. Armail is going to be here to make sure that Harry gets to push in this wave safely, and they're now going to use tag team effort to pressure and take away camps from Frost Force.
And man, just again, another great early game coming through from Team Liquid Academy here. You got to give Winthrop credit. They are making plays, but it feels like every time they bite off just a little bit more than they can chew, they're immediately punished by TL Academy.
Frost Force locking up Armail. Still no flash from before. Kenji finds a bubble.
Frost Force.
But Vex is not quite there, but he flashing forward. The shutdown will go over to Kenji. But Frost Force now the one overextended. Goes down to Ayla and Yawn. Ayla licks up Vex, sends him back to the graveyard. And Kenji is left all alone.
Slurps it up, says, don't mind if I do, Mark. That's 1 for 1 from the bot lane duo of Team Liquid Academy. Now that's just more pressure they've gotten on the map in their favor, and it's brutal because looking across the map, we talked about how early game focused a lot of this composition is. Ari, you're looking to find leads early, and to his credit, Ivano has bot lane with Lucian, Nami. You do really need to make plays happen because you get outscaled later on by Aphelios, but so far those things haven't been working out.
And look at that, Ivano was roaming towards the top side, looking to pressure Bradley while Mabud was crashing this wave. And something that we talk a lot about Armail that is a unsung hero. He is always in the right place at the right time. And that's just one of those moments where that could have been a death for Bradley, but because Ivano finds himself in the other jungle, he can't make the play happen.
Right, and this is already the second time this game as we're seeing where Armail was in the right place at the right time. Yeah, he gets the way shut down, but it's the Kenji, the support. So you don't feel as bad, and considering Yawn and Ayla end up getting a kill apiece, it is well worth it.
Armail still managing to secure the crab, has to use the Heartbreaker to get away. Ivano now trying to chase him down. Spear Rush available. The slow from Kenji should be enough. Winthrop in Armeo. We didn't mean to cast a curse you, but it was a 1-on-3 to be fair. The Winthrop are the ones that brought more people to the party.
That's right. That does mean that Frostforce will be able to take some camps back after some have been stolen, but it also means that Vex has to back away from his tower. So again, every time Winthrop gets something, Mark, I ask myself, what is TLA getting on the other side of the map? And in Yon's case, it is alone time with the Crescendum on that bottom turret, and already 3 turret plates have gone, and they could potentially threaten a 4th. As you can already see, this Aphelios has hit level 6.
That is a scary point for Winthrop now when you're looking at trying to fight Yon. Yon currently, oh my god, just about 1,000 gold. Yeah. This is supposed to be a lane matchup that Vex and Kenji are supposed to do extremely well in, and to their credit, they've been keeping up in success in CS, but because of that play, and then the gold, most of it going over to Kenji and not necessarily to Vex, Yon is able to pick up the remaining pieces of the fight.
And it's all these little things that start to add up in favor of TLA. And again, that's where the experience really shows for this team. And it just shows the level that Team Liquid Academy are on right now. That, again, these small things are being taken advantage of by them. And it's getting them what's now about a 1,200 gold lead. And it means that even though nobody has gone for the Dragon, Armeo could very easily go towards this Rift Herald, because now Bradley is back off of the reset. He has Sheen in hand, and Armeo's pretty close to his first item as it is as well. The top side of Team Liquid is pretty much ready to skirmish right now, Mark.
Cannon barrage at the ready. Even if Bradley's not in there at the fight in person, Armeo can still receive reinforcements with that, with all the cannon barrage fire coming down. But Bradley is going to walk on over. He's already pushed in the lane, making sure that Mabud has to catch it. Armeo and Harry will now start up the Rift Herald. And Winthrop, if they want to contest for it, they're going to be late.
Late, but seeming like better late than never showing up at all, as they are able to get some pressure here. Ultimates are available from both sides. The Stormbreaker could be a big difference maker in this fight, especially because Bradley has been zoned out.
Charm goes white, cannon barrage right on top of Frost Force. Armeo using the flash, and the rest of Winthrop are coming in, but Team Liquid are also here for the play.
Oh, the knock-up!
Yon flash forward aggressively looking for the highlight, which is a little too far forward.
Whoa.
The rest of Winthrop able to bite down and hold strong and take down 2.
That is a beautiful fight coming there from Winthrop University, and a bit of an overstep from Team Liquid. You're not respecting the fact that Kenji is level 6, has access to the tidal wave, and it had immense value here. So much gold goes over to Winthrop's pocket. I think the only thing that is unfortunate is that TLA did manage to grab the Rift Herald, and we're going to see how this played out in this replay as well here, where things were looking like you said, they were late, but the pressure is there, and Armeo, forced to flash out, wasn't able to have as much of an impact in this fight. But it's all Sir Kenji, Mark, if I'm being honest, especially because you know the Realm Warp didn't bring too many people there. You get the quadruple knockup, and it sets up for all those kills.
You know, the way the early game played out, it definitely seems like Team Liquid were off to the races, and we're going to leave Winthrop in the dust. But Winthrop saying, no, we still got some gas in the tank. We still have some plays to make of our own. The first dragon has still not been secured, which is what Team Liquid are trying to do right under the nose of Winthrop, and they managed to do it. Frost Forest and Kenji looking menacingly at Team Liquid, but won't engage.
That's right. It's what I like to call front row seats over for Winthrop. So to be fair, it is definitely a bit of a late showing from them, and not much they'd be able to do. So it doesn't mean that Team Liquid do manage to get both early game objectives with the Dragon and that Rift Herald. And because of all the kills that went over earlier in the game, Winthrop are still behind. Now the only thing you can hope to do is try to pressure Armeo. If you can get a kill on him and get him off the map, Mark, you waste time on that Rift Herald, forcing him to drop it at a potentially inopportune moment and risk losing all the value he could bring.
And a Winthrop, and if we go back to what you were talking about at the top of the draft for this composition, hold up. Ivano is forced to use the Spirit Rush, or to use the Charm. Won't be able to find another play quite yet until the cooldowns come in. Armeo forcing the flash out of Kenji with the Heartbreaker cast. Team Liquid. There is no dragon fight over as they already just took it just under 2 minutes ago, but this Rift Herald, they want to force it down in the mid lane.
Yeah, that's the problem. You get the angle. Kenji, although he has the tidal wave, isn't going to be able to do very much. It just means that TLA will get the plates. You get some gold into Harry's pocket, which is much obliged, especially in this matchup where he's not necessarily favored early on. Means that you get some gold into our male pocket as well. Everything's still going fine for Team Liquid Academy, because when we get to the late game mark, they're peachy keen. They're doing great. You got Viego, you got Gangplank, you have Rise. Let's not even forget about the Aphelios. You're feeling really good about yourself. And we talked about the window Vex and Kenji had in the early game to really get an early lead. Well, that window is closing, and I don't see a lead.
Yeah, it's more of a deficit at this point for Winthrop, which is a little unfortunate. And for Team Liquid, when we talked about in game one how the early game went out, you know, there's some plays that Winthrop were able to do that were in response to Team Liquid's early set plays. But the real stark contrast came into the mid game and the late game, where Team Liquid, they got to show off their team fighting prowess, their patience to understand when cooldowns from Winthrop were being used, and then waiting those out so that they could make their move, and always playing outside of the engage range and the skill range from Winthrop.
And speaking of, a lot of people here on the side of Winthrop trying to make the play onto Bradley, but it's tough. You called it before. Right place, right time. Always the case for our Mayo. So it means that you don't actually get to go for the play you want.
And Jan saw that Vex was getting a little too personal, a little too close. He was saying, back up, bro. Give me my space.
And space he will have, but oh my god, the fights don't stop.
Okay, Ayla. This is now a 3-on-2, and Harry's already dipping out. Hayla's got nowhere else to run, has the flash, but cannot flash away in time. Nice pickup kill from Winthrop University, able to find the support for Team Liquid. Jan still trading 1-for-1 against Vex, and he's the one that is slowly forcing him out. And I don't think Winthrop are going to be able to send any reinforcements anytime soon.
No. Luckily, Jan has been in lane for a while, so he's going to go for the recall, spend some of that gold that he has earned farming out these waves, pressuring Vex. Actually, he's going to hang out, Mark. He's going to wait and see if Vex gets a little too aggressive. It's looking like that isn't what's going to happen here. I think the thing I want to look at now is if we could talk gold and see what's going on in this top lane, because we talked about how Gangplank early on wants to be scaling. Well, guess what? Bradley, especially after that insane solo kill he was able to find, Mark, he is up in gold because of some of the plates, because of that kill, of course. And he is just put well on track to be that late game hyper carry we keep touting him as.
Such a huge, you know, when we looked at it and the original, you know, we were definitely hyped about it. But the narrative weight that solo kill means for Bradley is this is, you know, a lot of times Bradley's been in that situation against players who have been strictly a top lane main for quite some time. Remember, this is still Bradley's like 3rd month into being a top laner. He has been a mid laner for pretty much most of his amateur career,
right,
and collegiate as well. So, and most of the time, Bradley has been on the dying end of those solo kills. But that was one of the first times where we get to see Bradley actually win the 1v1. However, Bradley, can you dodge out in a 1v2? He's trying to sneak away that blue buff. Now Bradley is a little overextended and beat down. I keep caster cursing people.
I know what's going on. Unfortunately, Bradley gets a little too aggressive with the invade, gets spotted out on vision, and you know what, Mark? He gets his comeuppance. Nothing?
I liked it. No,
Oh, okay.
I liked it.
I was gonna say.
It was a silent chortle.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you, beat down.
Thank you. I also appreciate Winthrop's dragon setup right now, as they should be able to burst this one down. The problem is, what do they do after, Mark? Because there's certainly going to be a fight.
Oh, and Bradley is teleporting right back on into the fight. He's looking for vengeance, and he's coming in like the knight, laying down the barrels. Not going to find another one yet, but Winthrop are still on the run. The rest of Team Liquid have them in hot pursuit. Vex, just blinking health bars, is finally going to go down to Harry. The barrel chain will find its way through. Armeo gonna just get on out, and Team Liquid have definitely delivered their message.
Oh, that is a brutal fight coming through from Winthrop University, but it's looking great for TLA. The way they're able to find the angle and dodge out on the tidal wave means they had the angle to keep walking down the members of Winthrop University. And that's the big thing for me. Of course, we knew the Dragon was going to most likely go over to Winthrop. The problem was much after the tidal wave. It wasn't able to pick up any members, and that was a key reason why we saw Winthrop win their previous skirmish. And as soon as one of your main bits of CC goes off and it doesn't get anybody, you are running for the hills.
Yeah, they don't want the smoke beat down.
They're not firefighters. Y'all can have that.
Y'all can have that.
I mean, I just want to say I felt that when he said y'all can have that.
Yeah. It's a legendary saying, man.
Truly.
You know, only a true poet could have come up with that.
Agreed.
And unfortunately, it wasn't either of us.
No.
That credit belongs to Mr. Ravishing. Ravish, the most ravishing man on the internet.
Of course.
Gotta give credit to where credit is due. Winthrop, though, credit to them, they are starting up the Rift Herald. So this will be the second objective that they will lay claim to in the game.
And that's something they could use to probably break open that mid lane turret, because it is going to be a good way for them to get mid priority, because their mid tier 1, of course, is already gone, and it will give them that opportunity to be able to push the wave further. They could hold on to it, but for Dragon, but the thing with Dragon is that it's going to be up right around the time the Herald expires. So the best bet, drop it mid, drop it top, get some gold into your pockets, and if you can get a successful dive into a kill, all the better.
And Mabad is just snooping around, trying to see if Bradley will overextend. He has the Kraken Slayer, and that's it. Oh, and he's going to get spotted out by this control ward on Armeo.
Yep.
Sees him. Bradley interrupting the path of the heroic swing. Nothing heroic this time around. Mabad is the one that is routed off, and Team Liquid have now opened up the top side.
Just gets better and better for Team Liquid Academy as the gold lead grows to 4,000. That kill means Bradley gets to go ahead and take a turret. Yes, the lopsided bit of focus also gives Ivano to a chance to take this bottom turret, get some damage in, but it is paltry to what TLA continue to get for themselves, Mark. Mid priority, push, being able to push their vision line that much more forward into Winthrop's side of the jungle. And of course, you're preventing Winthrop from using the Rift Herald. Of course, you still have plenty of time, but the more time that's wasted, you've seen it before, the more desperate you get, thinking, okay, guys, we need to drop this Herald somewhere. We need to try and threaten the turret. And that's when you end up slipping.
And that's where also the pressure starts mounting up. And a lot of the times, when you look at teams in the academy that have a little bit more experience and they are able to train through these situations and scenarios far more often than players in the amateur scene, you look at a team like Winthrop and they get to that situation where they are forced to do something because time is running out, panic sets in, and the composure, you know, some of these players might have it but won't be able to account for everyone else. Whereas Team Liquid, we have seen them in situations over the course of the academy season where they display such great patience that they're not pressured by those moments.
Not at all. Ivano, of course, under a great amount of pressure, is forced to use the Spirit Rush, and it's a big deal because it allows Harry to, one, keep control of this bottom lane, and because of the timing of that objective we highlighted is so important for Winthrop, being able to stack towards the Mountain Soul. It's going to be a really big win condition for them because of how strong TLA are going to be in the later parts of the game, and Harry being able to shove that bottom wave gives him that tempo to be able to reset, allow his team to continue setting up vision, and get control over the pit.
Okay, Frost Force does have Stormbreaker available. You talked about it before. This great diving potential. Armeo, though, in the vicinity, is taking a recall. Bradley is comfortable that he can fight off a 1v2 at the very least.
Wow.
Knows that he cannot save the turret. But the rest of Winthrop University are not going to aggress further, and Bradley will still get time to recall.
Does he want to? That's the question.
Okay, 2-barrel combo. Nice damage onto Mabud. Half HP. Armeo is back from the fountain, and Harry has realm warped in for the flank. And now the rest of Winthrop are on the run. They were able to take down the first tier turret, but they lost out a top laner in sacrifice.
Again, it's the trades that continue to come through here, and they still always ever so slightly favor Team Liquid Academy. And the thing is, too, TLA could have gone straight for bot side focus, could have left Bradley to his own devices and gone for Dragon priority, which was probably what Winthrop are thinking, but instead TLA get to have their cake and eat it too, Mark. They respond to the play
Yes,
top,
sir.
they get a kill, and they also get to get this Dragon. And you can see it here in the replay, the wonderful flank coming through from Harry, as he just able to set up such a great kill.
Even the teleport was expended by Ivano. Unfortunately, Realm Warp comes in just a touch faster than even the Unleashed teleport. And for Team Liquid, we find them at just about 4,000 gold, 5,000 against Winthrop University. And like before in Game 1, it wasn't necessarily a huge gold lead that Team Liquid had that marked their complete control of the game. It was how they demonstrated their team fighting prowess, and we're definitely approaching a moment like that again once the next objective is on the table.
You highlighted it already, Mark. The way they're able to watch cooldowns has been such a big boon for TLA and the team fighting here. Again, you see Ivano pressured in the side lane. It's brutal because when you think about these side lane fights, actually, you might need to hold that.
Armeo still has flash. Heartbreaker out, Stormbreaker forward. Armeo flashing away, but
Nice.
it's the calling from the Blickies going onto Armeo. Nice shutdown for Winthrop University.
That's right. The relentless pursuit into the Gale Force to make absolutely certain Vex was going to pick up that kill. And that is something, a crucial shutdown to this Lucian who's been struggling for a lot of this game, Mark. Last time we checked, that was a 2,000 gold deficit they find themselves in. But now, Winthrop, no, they're far behind, Mark. So it's time to make a play. You get the jungler down. It is time to try and take the Baron.
No smite available from Team Liquid. Nolan is also carrying Unsealed Spellbook. Control Ward, vision completely gone. Barrel Chain is nice for some damage onto Mabud, but Winthrop are able to secure the Baron, but now the damage follow-up afterwards. Team Liquid 4 on 5, still managed to even up the odds. Take down 2, looking for a third onto Vex, and the rest of Winthrop that they can just hold on, but it's a flash forward. The parlay shot from Bradley exemplifies his dominance once again.
And this is what we were talking about previously. The amateur superstar again finding these plays with his team here in the Prowler's Claw to make this Baron play not worth it for the side of Winthrop, because I had a whole point, Mark, ready about how, oh my god, you know what? You trade 2, you get the Baron. That's a nice bit of extra gold, but that's not even what happens. You have 1 Baron buff off that risky play that you went for. TLA played that so well, denying an actual Baron push from Winthrop Academy. They essentially got the gold you get from taking the Baron, and that's about all they're going to get from it.
Yeah, and the only member that has an out is Kenji, who is going to have to play very cautiously for the next couple of minutes if Winthrop University want to make great use of the Baron buff, because he is the squishiest member on the squad, and we take a look back at that Baron fight unfolding.
And again, it's just so well played there from the side of Team Liquid Academy. They're moving in, taking their time. Ayla uses the Devour to make sure Harry can continue putting out all that damage and follow up with the Realm Warp. And on this side here, Bradley with the flash forward, and Ayla overall just able to offer so much pressure there to make sure they get these kills is what put Winthrop in this situation right now. They have 1 Baron buff, but realistically, they don't have a Baron push. Maybe they can threaten the bot tier 1, because that's still up after all this time. But even that is a long shot.
You might as well just think of the Baron play as more of a, at least Team Liquid don't get the Baron, right?
True. I like it.
Because Team Liquid were about 6,000, 5,000 gold ahead before that play was made. And now they find themselves 7,000 in a Team Liquid, and just knowing even when challenges are thrown their way, they're still able to find ways to overcome them and make the best out of those situations. So yes, no Baron buff for them, but they're still the ones that are controlling the map and getting the first one set up for the next dragon.
And it will be their sole point. That insult to injury to everything Winthrop has been trying to do so far this game. That soul point means that 5 minutes after that, of course, as we know, that soul will be available. And like last game, when it was the Ocean Soul, it's something Winthrop are not going to be able to just let slide without an attempt here. The real problem now, though, is this play.
Uh-oh, and Kenji was here hovering, making sure that Mabud was going to be safe in the push in the 1v2 for a potential 2v2. But a 2-on-4 is a little too much to ask for anyone, as the rest of Team Liquid Academy rout off the last member with the Baron buff. And now it's Winthrop University. At least they get to be here first for the Dragon, but Team Liquid take this trade in stride as they will now push out the top lane and the mid lane.
Right, that's a calculated risk, Mark. You understand that, look, man, we're only getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Bradley's at 3 items now, level 16 on this Gangplank. We have our Rise, who's 3 items working towards what's probably a death cap. You are piss chilling right now. You do not care about Winthrop University getting their second dragon, because it means that while they're recalling, you get to break open the base and take inhibitor in the mid lane.
Yeah, Team Liquid Academy may not be able to contest for that dragon that Winthrop got, but Winthrop, they are in the do or die mode. Team Liquid are in just absolute vibe mode right now. They're just enjoying their time. They're playing some good old League of Legends right now, and they're playing the game very cleanly. Frostforce might be routed off here. Still has flash. Doesn't want to have to use it. Yawn steps a little too far forward, flashing backwards. Tidal Wave catches him, but he's still surviving somehow, some way, thanks to the shield.
Oh,
and he's able to get on out. And meanwhile, the rest of the members of Team Liquid, they still have to run away because Mabud actually found our male in the clump. They also take down Bradley. And Team Liquid might have been the ones that overextended.
As soon as you lose Armeo, you want to walk away, but Bradley's already committed. He used the teleport and gave away so much gold along with TLA's jungler, and now it means that you get an objective bounty. It means you can threaten this tier 2 turret if you're fast enough, and that's a nice chunk of gold Winthrop were desperately looking for, Mark.
Yeah, they just shored up the gold lead from 8,000 to 6,000, and now it's only 5,000. And it's slightly less than that. So Winthrop have done great measures to shore up the deficit they are experiencing.
And we're going to see how that one started in this replay. The fact is, it seems like Frostforce is caught out. The rest of TLA are like, this is an illegal maneuver. This is absolutely impossible. The position police are here in full force. However, the problem was, Winthrop actually managed to hold their own long enough for Avano to show up, and because of that pressure they were able to add, because of the kill onto our male that comes through, Bradley shows up to a 1 versus 5.
This is sick. I just love the I remember when we talked about the pre-show for the series overall, not just the draft. If Winthrop are able to stand at least toe-to-toe with Team Liquid, let alone take a game, that is still something to celebrate, because Team Liquid is an expected favorite for this tournament overall. And Winthrop, the last remaining collegiate team, being the 4th seed from amateur, we definitely had ways that we could think at how they would play to their strengths, but them still remaining strong in against a composition where there's so many great scaling components shows that Winthrop are understanding their limits in some of these late game fights.
Mark, Winthrop are tenacious in their pursuit of victory, and they are trying to make it happen despite the odds against them, despite the gold that is against them. And they're showing us some bright spots here. They're showing us signs of life. One more good fight could be how they get themselves back into this game, because spawn timers are getting long, Mark. We're at the 30-minute mark, and with that coming through, that means if Winthrop win a team fight, if they get at least 3 members down, that's enough time for you to get a Baron. It could even be enough time to get your soul point, which is coming in a minute 30.
Yeah, key thing to note, Yawn, no summoner spells for the next 2.5 minutes. Avano and Vex still have their flashes up and available. And they are the ones that could be the ones that step forward, make the play to take out one of these backlines after Kenji or Frostforce or Mabud setting up the initial damage and the burst and the CC. The rest of Team Liquid have to play with caution. Need to respect Winthrop and know that, yes, they are the ones in control, but they are also the ones that could easily just as lose it if they do not give the space that Winthrop deserve.
Right now, this time around, you can see Bradley is doing that. Shoves a big wave top, and that's a lot of golden XP being lost right now unless somebody recalls to grab it here. That's why you're seeing Avano go for it. And you're seeing Vex, even though you are a little behind in gold compared to Yawn on this Velios, you do still do a good amount of damage. And as you highlighted, in these team fights, It's like last game. You take out Yon, you give yourself a really good chance of winning these fights off. Of course, it's not going to be as simple as it was last game. This game, Bradley is on his legendary Gangplank. It's level 17, 3, almost 4 items to his name. He is also another threat Winthrop have to be very wary of.
Armeo and Harry are also strong carries in their own rights as well. It's just going to be who can deal the damage first. Culling splits up Team Liquid, sends them back into the choke point. Cannon Barrage prevents Winthrop from being able to follow up. Ayla still half HP. Has the Devour ready and available for 1 carry. If he steps too far forward, Charm, Bradley instantly cleanses it thanks to the oranges. Armeo starting up the Dragon, making sure that he can secure this objective before Winthrop can get a chance to contest. And a nice chunk of burst damage from Team Liquid forces Frost Force away. The Dragon is secured, and now Team Liquid are on soul point. But Winthrop, they say, all right, bet. You think you're going to take the reset? No, we're going to pull the Hail Mary right here, right now. Get the Baron as low as possible.
Yeah,
Armeo,
they're going to get it.
Oh, I don't know. Armeo could make the steal happen.
Oh, he steal it!
Flashes it. Perfect timing. The ward gives him all the clarity, the vision he needs to turn Winthrop's miracle run into absolute disaster. Harry cleaning up like the janitor, mopping them down. Winthrop lose 2. Vex is able to win the 1v1 against Bradley and survive,
deal.
but now you got to retreat back to the base because the rest of Team Liquid will be setting up for the push.
Okay, I will say winning the 1v1 is really important here. Vex actually is going to stay and take this tier 2 turret. That is a pretty big risk with Armeo showing up, but still, ultimately, kind of holds on to this play. It does mean that TLA won't be able to take as much. Harry could be big here. Ayla, though, still has a Devourer, will save the mid laner from certain death. Now it's only Kenji here to defend the base. And look at this. Vex cannot recall because Armeo is just waiting for him to pop. The recall will show now and stop him in place. Vex will not get a chance to recall and save the inhibitor from going down. But because Frost Force respawns, at least the Nexus turrets stay alive. Hold on. Vex has gotten Armeo pretty low. He might be able to get the solo kill here. Has to be careful.
He's waiting for the root. Does he get the damage down? Look at the burst damage. Heartbreaker out. Armeo, but the range difference from Vex.
The burn.
Oh, Vex wins.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Bradley. He's like, I got you, buddy.
Is it just me? Or did that cannon barrage look like it was in slow-mo? Is it to BM? I must have imagined it.
Dude, that's a cinematic shot right there.
It is, honestly.
Oh, man.
Pain.
This has been a fun series so far. And even though Team Liquid have been, very much in the driver's seat for most part of both games 1 and 2, there are definitely some things to look at and that are noteworthy from Winthrop in this series so far.
That's right. They have been, you know what? A lot of teams, when faced against an opponent like TLA, usually do end up freezing. Oh my god.
Well, we're now at the point where Yon is very, very fed on the Aphelios. And at Winthrop University, last chance for a defense. But Team Liquid Academy very set on taking this series as swiftly and as securely as possible. Bradley just making sure that no one can exit quite soon.
Yeah, now, I think with 2 inhibitors down, the thing that's going to be so hard is that with Baron buff in tow, TL can just threaten the next one.
Dude, the Gravitum roots from Yon are allowing for so much chunk damage from Ivano, and it's not even the main source of auto attack damage. Yon is just forcing Winthrop University laners to recall back in the fountain and heal back on up, and now all 3 inhibitors, just like that beat down, have been taken down.
We've seen this time and time again watching competitive League of Legends, Mark. 3 inhibitors being down is often a death sentence and could very well herald the end for Winthrop in the upper brackets here in Proving Grounds. But it isn't over yet. They still have a chance. It's not going to be in a minute's time because it's not likely they'll be able to deny this soul. I think what they're going to have to do now is just push these waves as far as they can because you got double supers coming in every lane, and just try to keep yourself alive for the Elder Dragon, because that is the only thing you have really left going for you here. Unless you win another Miracle team fight against Team Liquid Academy, they're just going to be able to slap you with your wallets and end the game.
Oh, and Harry has Realm Warp available. and Yon are circling around their prey, just waiting for Ivano. Looks like they're not going to
Yeah,
go
the
for
hover.
it quite yet. Yeah. I was ready for just a realm war play and then locking him down, but I guess Spirit Rush would have given him enough distance to clear the field.
That plus Frost Wars is actually on a ward, so they knew he was hovering, so they didn't want to take any risks there. Falling like that would have given away a free dragon, and props to TLA for having that vision and recognizing, okay, we don't know where everyone is, so let's not make too risky of a play here. You can slowly just walk the waves in because that's the position that they're in, and it's going to really start to smother Winthrop Academy as you are starting to see.
You already noted before, it's going to be double super minions. Vex forced to use his ultimate just to clear the wave so that they can get a chance to breathe. But right now, the suffocation is clear with all the minions being poured into the base. Winthrop do not get to leave.
Okay, I will say though, for the next couple of minutes while this is happening, it's worth noting a lot of extra gold and XP is going the way of Winthrop University. They were down 9K mark, and now it's down to almost 6,000 gold because of all the extra gold and XP of double super minions. There's a brief opening when you know the Viego isn't here. Winthrop could look for something.
Oh, Frost Force pulls the trigger, flashing right onto Yon. Ayla's got the Devour, will keep his AD carry alive, and the Cannon Barrage and the damage fire back from Harry locks down Vex. Doesn't get a chance to flash out away. Another flash parlay from Bradley. Once again takes out Winthrop University and Team Liquid Academy. There's a reason why they have been heralded as the #1 team from Academy going into this tournament, and they are cleaning out Winthrop University from the upper bracket and advancing on in style.
TLA, one of the best Academy has to offer, takes down one of the best we have in collegiate, Mark, as they're just looking to pad the stats, end up giving some kills over to Kenji, it looks like, but that will be the end of the game, the end of the series, and despite Winthrop's valiant attempt, TLA were simply too strong.
Yeah. You know, props to Winthrop for putting up a fight in the first place. You know, there definitely
100%.
some moves where like, oh snap, oh Winthrop, they're pulling it around, they're turning it around. You know, it's just, if in all honesty, the fact that it wasn't a complete stomp, you know, well done to Winthrop. You know, being competitive, and hopefully this is a game and a series to look back on where you get to watch it and review. It's like, okay, these are some of the mistakes that Team Liquid, you know, punished us that maybe other teams didn't punish us for, you know, beforehand, and it's a learning experience.
And I will say, like, very quickly, because of course I do want to focus on TLA and the fact that they won. There, when you're facing against a team like TLA is Winthrop, there are a lot of teams, we've seen it in amateur, where you freeze up, especially when you're falling behind. You're not looking to make plays, but to Winthrop's credit, even at pretty much every point in the game, Mark, they were decisive. Frost Forest was making the calls, trying to make these plays. There's a Baron opening, we'll go for it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. But I think that confidence is something we really should celebrate from an amateur team, especially with what they're up against in this tournament.
Yeah, because when you look at Team Liquid Academy, you know, two of those players came up from that amateur scene just under 2 years ago. Jan from 100 Thieves Next in class of 2020, and then Bradley from Wildcard, and then, of course, having the collegiate experience at Bethany Lutheran over 2021. You know, a lot of these players from Winthrop, Team Liquid understand that, you know, they were in those shoes, you know, just a couple of years ago or under those 2 years. But now, you know, this is what happens when you get to play in Academy and you have the resources available.
Absolutely.
But once again, massive props to Team Liquid Academy. A ferocious showing here in Proving Grounds in the upper bracket as they advance on. When we come back from this break, it will be Mazel on deck and interview with Team Liquid Academy.
Welcome on back, everyone. We are here post-game interview powered by Verizon. I am joined by the top laner for Team Liquid Academy, the victorious team today in a 2-0 victory. Welcome on in, Bradley. We finally get to talk. I've been trying to interview you the entire Academy split. Now we're finally into PG, man. Feels good to take the dub in the way you guys did today. Was there anything different in the prep coming into PG for the team?
Yeah, I would say so. Specifically my bud, he kind of plays every champ, so it's kind of like a head scratcher, you know? So I would say like the prep there was kind of just like, well, good luck top lane. But yeah, finally we got the interview, you know? It's been a minute.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Now, talking about Mabud and Winthrop University a little bit, you coming from the collegiate scene itself and rising up into the academy scene, how does it feel to take down an old collegiate enemy and knock them down in the lower bracket?
I mean, I guess the council went easy on me, you know? Like, I
Oh
I feel bad,
no.
you know, because like those are my brothers over there in collegiate. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do.
You gotta figure out what the system is over there for that council. Figure out how to fix that one up a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I appreciate it, you
you
know?
you get the eyes on you at least. Now, do you feel like yourself as a player? Have you truly blossomed into a top laner this split? Do you feel like you finally found a comfort in the top lane?
Oh yeah, I would say I have. At first, like I definitely had a harder time adjusting because I definitely went into it thinking it was going to be easier than I thought. But luckily I have, good teammates and a good coach, hashtag coach cap to kind of help me with the with the role swap. So it's been going
Gotta
good
give
so
a shout out to
far. I'd
Coach
say I'm
Spawn.
I'm I'm pretty much molded now into a
I
like I
like
think like
it.
a top laner now.
So that journey has been a rocky one for you for sure, trying to learn a new position itself. We're on the LCS channel. Maybe a lot of people that don't know your name, don't know the rising star that you're becoming. What has this journey been like? Walk me through it for you.
Well, hopefully they know my name because my in-game name is the same as my real name. But yeah,
You got me there.
the journey has been kind of surreal, to be honest. I went from amateur to collegiate to back to amateur, and then now I'm here on academy and been on the grind for a little bit. But I've been playing league since I was like 10, so it was up until like season 8 where I decided, I kind of want to try to go pro, and then ever since then, kind of bouncing between amateur and collegiate, kind of trying to put in the work, trying to get better. It's kind of led me here, and couldn't be happier.
And it just feels like you're slotting into a Team Liquid Academy team who is firing on all cylinders, right? You got Ayla back. Your team just seems synergistic in all fronts, even when there are some rough points. So, what do you hold key to the mental perseverance that you guys have? Do you have anything that you guys hold on to as a group that just makes sure that your mental is positive?
Oh yeah. So as far as like our mentals being positive, so like we have a new thing now. So whenever we do
Okay.
something good, it's like fist bump, you know. So like if we do
All
anything
right.
good,
Little
like
physical touch.
we're giving. Oh yeah, and like we found an emote too now that like that's fist bumps. So like as far as the mental goes, mental's at an all-time high with the fist bumps.
All right.
You
So,
get
we
a
got to
kill,
keep an eye out for the
fist
fist
bump.
bumps.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, you gotta have the little things, right? That's the biggest thing for me. So I have a little bit of a personal question here. We have talked before, and you did tell me you have a wonderful kitten back home. How is
I
Socks?
do.
How is
Socks
he?
is good.
How's he doing?
I wish I could show him on stream. I'm not in my room, unfortunately. Otherwise, we would get to see Socks. But
Maybe
he's
one of
doing
these
good.
days we'll see a picture. Good,
Hmm.
good. I'm glad to hear. That was a little personal one for me. Now, Bradley, I want to give you the stage. Do you have any shout outs? Do you have anybody you want to talk about here before we let you go?
I would, yeah, I can roll with some shout outs, but I'd probably give a lot of shout outs, so roll with me here. First, I would like to shout out the broadcast and everyone that kind of like makes the magic happen because, kind of wouldn't be here without you guys. And then I'd like to shout out my family because they give me constant support. My mom's a gamer and she like watches all my games, so it's really helpful having
That's
like a
awesome.
supportive family, especially. And shout out to my boys, my team, of course, right? Shout out to some of my friends in like the collegiate, right? Got to shout back out to you guys because I'm sure they were here watching the game and all my friends. And yeah,
Thank you so much, Bradley. I really appreciate getting to talk to you finally after all this time. Have a wonderful
of
rest of your
course.
evening and get right back to the grind, my friend.
Thank you.